Many people are asking me, what do you think is coming next and well today? After the price of XRP skyrocketed past 230. Since I find that to be a really fascinating subject, I will attempt to respond to that question. Numerous geopolitical initiatives are currently underway, such as the US-China tariff negotiations that will take place very soon. Massive acquisitions of XRP and a lot more are happening, and I think that will have a significant impact on the price. As always, read the disclaimer, click like if you like the content so that others can see it, and then let's get straight into the news. I want to start by discussing the current state of affairs in XRP land. One of the most recent announcements is that Wellgistics Health, a huge pharmaceutical distributor, plans to use XRP as a payments and treasury asset in a $50 million funding agreement. The hits for XRP simply keep coming, really. And like Hidden Road, this is another significant one. Even while it may not be as large as Hidden Road, we still want to see this kind of content. Real-world implementation, where we are improving people's lives, giving them a competitive advantage, and demonstrating that blockchain technology, and the XRPL in particular, will greatly benefit businesses. And this is a clear indication that it is. There are a lot of strange things happening in geopolitics right now. First, the president of Switzerland recently announced that trade discussions between the United States and China would take place in Switzerland. Alright, so they are sort of convening in a central area in Switzerland between the United States and China, and they will be having talks regarding that. The topics they will cover include trade, tariffs, and how we will basically navigate these turbulent times. Trump has also been increasing the pressure on China lately, stating things like, "We're going to keep raising tariffs if they keep reciprocating our tariff raises. China can't handle this type of trade war for much longer, and their economy is collapsing." As a result, the United States and China, two of the biggest economies in the world, are currently at odds. Furthermore, it doesn't appear that Trump wants to give China a lot of wiggle room. It is true that Trump recently reversed one of his tariffs on China. In fact, he is discussing the possibility of reducing tariffs, which we will discuss briefly. However, based on some of the other things we're witnessing, I do believe that it's probable that the United States and China will be reaching a trade agreement in the near future. Having said that, I would like to quickly note that XRP has experienced some incredibly wild price movement in the previous few days. The current coin price is $2.35. I should now mention that I did purchase XRP back here. The purchase is truly visible on the screen. Since then, it has drastically increased, and we really purchased XRP once more back here, and our current trading price is far more than the current values. As of right now, we're up 47% on our position, and I just wanted to let you know that everyone watching the video would have had access to this deal I made. I'll have it as a top pinned comment if you were a member of my Crypto Crusaders group, which is naturally connected down below. Just click the top link in the description. You guys can sign up for it for free. It's a cryptocurrency trading club where I share my own trades and a number of other people hang out and discuss cryptocurrencies. You guys can see what I'm doing and get my own view on the market, but it's not financial advice. Additionally, membership is a pretty easy process. To participate, simply register on one of our two partner exchanges. You provide your email address and exchange user ID, and you deposit at least $100 in cryptocurrency. The best part is that BTCC is offering a 10% deposit bonus. So is BitUnix at the moment. In other words, if you deposit $100,000 worth of XRP from Coinbase onto one of these two exchanges, you will receive a 10% deposit bonus, $10,000 in cryptocurrency that you can use for trading fees, etc., which is a large amount. Please keep in mind that nothing I say should be interpreted as investment advice. All I'm doing is sharing my personal thoughts on what I think is going on in the markets and my own trades, which I also make. After all, there have been numerous liquidations as a result of these enormous pumps, which is why we urgently need to lock in. The price of XRP is actually poised to rise much higher, according to a few very significant technical indicators. First, as you can see, we simply bounced off the oversold when we get to the 1 day for Bitcoin and XRP. We saw a 9% pump that day, and as of right now, the price is still rising at a respectable 1.7%. It was perhaps 4% at its highest. However, it is evident from this stock asset RSI that we are beginning to trend upward. In the past, whenever we have begun to rise, there have been a few pleasant green days. As we can see, this occurred on April 8th. On March 2nd, it occurred once more just here, and so on. Therefore, I do believe that there will probably be a few more green days here. I will keep you all informed on my personal perspective in my Crypto Crusaders group, but it is also likely that we may begin trading in a sideways manner. Not financial advice again. That being said, a total of $840 million worth of cryptocurrency was undoubtedly sold, and it's probable that more may follow. A few individuals will attempt to time the peak here and attempt to short more directly. I don't think that's a good idea, so I'm not doing it. I believe that many people will lose a lot of money doing so, but it is definitely suicide that Shorty didn't participate in any bull markets. It's also rather intriguing to note that Canada's unemployment rate is rising. Trump's tariffs are actually causing some economies to deteriorate significantly. The economy is slowing down in some places. The unemployment rate is increasing. 6.9% is an extremely high percentage. I want to be really clear about that. Personally, I'm in Canada, and that figure makes me a little uneasy. I mean, it's clear that the US has a much lower unemployment rate, and for good cause. It is the world's most prosperous economy. However, this is something that should definitely be monitored. I do believe that until tariff agreements are reached, there is a very high chance that the dollar will fall globally and that many European nations, Canada, and even China will experience a recession, which will be exceedingly difficult. Across the board, we are witnessing slower GDP growth. We're witnessing an increase in unemployment rates everywhere. In other words, Canada and Europe are compelled to reduce interest rates in this country. The situation in the US is slightly different. Their unemployment rate is already quite low, and I'm referring to them. Since they are the global reserve currency, lowering interest rates will benefit the global economy by increasing international liquidity. However, they are not required to take any action. They can sit on their relatively robust economy and watch others wriggle, and I believe Trump will keep doing this because he truly wants to buy Canada and make it the 51st state, and if Canada is in a very bad situation, that is much more likely to happen. Additionally, we may observe that the S&P 500 has plummeted on the day that President Trump suggests imposing 80% tariffs on China. Tariffs are clearly not going to disappear anytime soon. Naturally, some people believed that it may perhaps disappear as a result of the Switzerland-US-China arrangement, but that doesn't appear to be the case. It appears that tariffs will remain in place. China reacted to Trump's remarks by stating that it strongly opposes the US abusing reciprocal tariffs.